Gentleman yields back. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Indiana, Mr. Stutzman, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate the witnesses for being here today. I want to talk just a little bit about the colloquy between the ranking member and the Democrat witness, Mr. Armanath. I think you kind of made the point that for us that the prices have caused unemployment rates to go up. So again, that's a secondary consequence of higher prices. I mean, let's take it, for example, the housing industry. You know, many Americans have locked themselves into low interest rates, and now inflation has caused the housing market to increase, puts them out of place. Now interest rates have followed. They're now higher. Who wants to go from a 3% interest rate to a 6 or 7% interest rate? Now, so now we've taken a lot of people out of the market to buy, correct? So your inventory is lower, which pushes prices higher. So again, if the Fed would focus on price stability rather than on labor numbers, that would take care of itself. Because right now, who wants to build a new home? Look at the price of new homes. It's the interest rates have affected housing. The interest rates have affected auto. Back when you could buy a car and you maybe walk out of the new dealership with a $500 to $600 a month payment with the higher interest rates, you're walking out with a $800, $900 interest or a monthly payment, so you don't buy the car. So that's the dynamics that we have going here. That's just reality. It's not in a textbook all the time, it's just the reality of it. So supply and demand forces are still at work here. And so to say that they lowered interest rates because of unemployment numbers, yeah, because supply is dropping because people can't buy. They can't afford. And so we have inflationary costs that have driven prices up faster than what the ability to keep up with at the labor side in income levels for families to be able to go out and buy those products. Mr. Pollack, I'd like to go to you. If you go back and take a deep look at the political environment at the time under LBJ, it's hard to ignore the persistent influence of LBJ's Great Society reforms and the idea that the federal government should have its hand in every aspect of the economy. For instance, Hubert Humphrey included a Great Society-style government jobs program in his draft of what would become the the Humphrey-Hawkins Act. If the Fed didn't hit the unemployment target set by Congress, Humphrey's idea was for the federal government to act as an employer of last resort and create jobs for all who wanted one. That sounds to me like decision driven by bad politics, not just bad economics. And this wasn't just a political decision, it was the wrong decision. Instead of having the Fed maintain its sole focus on inflation as it had for nearly 60 years, which I would also remind the committee that central banks across the world have single mandates. European Central Bank, Bank of Japan, Swiss National Bank, Bank of Italy, and others only have a single mandate. But the creation of the dual mandate injected big government politics into the Fed's decisions and forced it to balance two often competing goals. I guess my question to you, Mr. Pollack, is how do these conflict with each other, and does it complicate the Fed's decision-making, and do you think the pressure to avoid job losses influences the Fed's willingness to tackle inflation?
Thank you, Congressman. There are a lot of factors the Fed is trying to look at, just as Dr. Holtz-Eakin said, and they do conflict with each other, and there's some they can directly control, like the amount of money and therefore inflation, and some they can't, like long-term employment, which fundamentally results from technology and productivity improvements and the functioning of competitive markets. I'm glad you brought up President Johnson. That was a famous conflict between a president and a Fed, leading to Lyndon Johnson, at least it was reported, physically shoving William McChesney Martin around the living room of his ranch while yelling at him and calling him despicable.
That hasn't happened today yet, has it?
So we can look to history for many such conflicts. I think at the time of the Humphrey-Hawkins Act, there was a belief in the Phillips curve and that you could get more employment just by running inflation up. It's something, as far as I know, at least I don't believe it, and a lot of people think that's a dead theory. Paul Volcker warned us against the temptation of saying just run up inflation a little because you'll get more employment, and the answer is you'll end up getting less employment.
Gentleman's time has expired on that point.